All right, today we are continuing with solving equations. This time we're going to be solving an equation that's written in a particular form. P times the quantity x plus q equals r. So if you are familiar with your properties, you should recognize this as the distributive property, something we worked with when we learned about expressions. So this equation here has two factors. One is the number in front of the parentheses that we are calling p, and what's inside parentheses, which is the x plus q. So we can just distribute, which means we'd multiply the number in front of parentheses times each term inside the parentheses and then solve that two-step equation the way that we have learned how to do. Or there's also a shortcut where we can actually divide both sides of the equation by the number in front of the parentheses, the p. So we're going to do a few examples here, and we're going to do it both ways, distributing and the shortcut. So first up, we have this equation, negative 3 times the quantity x plus 5 equals 45. And let's start by doing it by distributing, because that's probably how you would do it if you didn't know the shortcut, right? So let's give it a chance. So to distribute, I would do negative 3 times x and negative 3 times 5. So negative 3 times x, of course, is negative 3x, and negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And now we have a two-step equation, which we've already learned how to do. Remember that we solved two-step equations by undoing the constant term, using addition or subtraction. The opposite of subtracting 15 is adding 15. Bring down the negative 3x. Negative 15 plus 15 is 0. This gives us 60. And the second step is to undo the coefficient. The opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is dividing both sides by negative 3. And x is negative 20. So this is how you would probably do it if I had just given you this problem and asked you to solve it. But you can also use a shortcut. Watch how this works. Let me recopy the problem. The shortcut is to divide both sides of the equation by the number that's in front of the parentheses. These would cancel out because negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, leaving you with just x plus 5. And 45 divided by negative 3 would be negative 15. Now it's a one-step equation. We only have to undo the constant term by subtracting 5 from both sides, and we get the same answer. But we got the same answer with a lot less work. So the shortcut is something you should use when the number in front of parentheses is a factor of this constant term that's on the right side of the equation. If negative 3 goes into 45 evenly, then definitely use the shortcut. All right, let's try some other ones here. All right, if I distribute, I'm doing 1.5 times m, and then 1.5 times negative 3 is negative 4.5. And so we'll first undo the constant term. The opposite of subtracting 4.5 is adding 4.5. These cancel out. And over here I have 12. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 1.5. And don't forget, we are doing equations now, and it is okay to use your calculator. So I'm going to do that right now, just to make sure. And we get 8. So m equals 8. Oops. Now let's use our shortcut method. Let me recopy the problem. Shortcut is going to be dividing both sides by the number in front of parentheses. So I just have m minus 3. The reason I just have m minus 3 is because 1.5 divided by 1.5 is 1. And then 7.5 divided by 1.5 is 5. And now I just have this one-step equation. Much faster to do it this way. However, whoops. Oh, goodness. Do you guys see my mistake? It's just a test. I want to add 3 to both sides. So I get 8. And this is faster, like I said, but we get the same answer, right? And I don't really care which way you do it, as long as you show all of your steps and you get the right answer. So if you're more comfortable distributing, go ahead and do it that way. Let's try this one that has a fraction in front. And we'll see that we just basically do it the same way. Don't be afraid of the fractions. You could change this to 0.75, but remember that if we have a fraction that is a repeating decimal, you won't be able to change it to a decimal. So we'll do 3/4 times x, and then we're going to do 3/4 times 18. So I'm going to show that step here. So that'd be like 18 over 1, right? So I'm going to use a different color and do cross canceling. 2 goes into 2. 2 goes into 4 twice, and 2 goes into 18 9 times. So I'm going to have 27 halves. You can see that this is not looking pretty, right? But I can keep going here. This is going to be an example. Let me put it over here. This is an example of when it's better to probably use the shortcut, but I'm going to finish this out since I started it. I need common denominators over here. And so you would do like a scoreboard for that, right? You would do negative 48, so 48 negatives and 27 positives. And so the positives, or the negatives would win by 21. And then these canceled. And you would divide both sides by 3/4. Well, dividing by 3/4 is the same as multiplying by 4/3. So let's see what happens over here. We're going to have all kinds of great cross canceling. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 4 twice, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 21 7 times. So negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. So x is negative 14. That was a big mess. We didn't get a messy answer, but it was a lot of work. Let's try the shortcut method and see if that's less work. I bet you it is. First, I'm going to just recopy it, and then if I divide both sides by 3/4, that's the same thing as, wow, that's the same thing as, oh my goodness, multiplying by the reciprocal, right? If I divide by 3/4, that's the same thing as multiplying by 4/3. So these all cancel. That's why I did it. I just have x minus 18 over here. And then look at how beautiful this is. 3 goes into 3 1 time. 3 goes into 24 8 times. So negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. I'm going to add 18 to both sides. And what do you think that negative 32 plus 18 gives me? You guessed it, 14. Negative 14, because I have more negatives. Oh my gosh, I have more negatives than positives. Sometimes I have to tap off that page, right? Because if I did like a little scoreboard on this, I'd have 32 negatives and 18 positives, so the negatives would win. Look how much less work that was. Just sheer volume of writing is going to be a lot less if you can use that shortcut. Thanks for watching.